In this presentation today, we are going to be talking about the conventions and representation of social groups in the film A Game to Die For. To start off, there were some conventions that were used within this specific film, but can also be seen in other horror films. This can include fear, a clear threat, violence and danger, dark, isolated settings, stock characters, suspense, limited knowledge, and then sound and music. Conventions are very important just to understand a film and the purpose, and it's also important for the viewer to acknowledge, and it will help the viewer understand creative ideas and the purpose behind the screen. To start off, a key convention that was used within this film would be fear. Fear was a main goal within our film. The point of fear is to cause a spike of adrenaline by keeping the audience on their feet, wanting to know more. We used fear in our film by showing panic in the characters and the mysterious deaths. Here in this image at the bottom, you can see the fear in these three characters' eyes. They are seeing the card, and immediate panic is being shown, just not knowing what to do with themselves and just being fearful of what may happen next. Another key convention that was used is a clear threat. We supported a clear threat just as Scream 5 did, which was directly in the opening film. As you can see here, the clear threat is the Ghostface Man, and he is constantly trying to grab and torture some of the characters in this film, like Jenna Ortega. Although our threat isn't a person, each character knows they are trying to run away from death, a spiritual presence rather than a person. Another key convention that was used would be violence and danger. Violence and danger was also supported just as almost any other horror film, because obviously you cannot have a horror film that is involving deaths and murders without having violence and danger. This was used through fear and panic in each person's eyes. We also used immediate panic and props like fake blood to express that danger is present. The last key convention that was used would be limited knowledge. Although each character is playing a game, they don't know how to beat it, which would be death, or if they can even stop playing. They really don't know what they're getting into, and they didn't even know that they were getting into this when they started playing the board game. All they know is they were playing a board game and their friends started dying. Just as it is seen in the 2008 film Strangers, the characters don't know where the danger is or how to escape from it. There are also key conventions that were challenged. One of these key conventions would be dark and isolated settings. For the majority of our film, the characters were in a big house with lights on, so clearly they were not isolated one bit, as you can see in this image here. However, the way that we established this danger would be through lighting, props, and acting. Another key convention that would be challenged is stock characters. As you can see here in Scary Movie, they had plenty of stock characters. They had the final girl, they had the couple, they had many that just you knew who was going to die and who wasn't. We didn't establish any character assumptions within our film. It was just one giant group of friends. This really helped to create reality and mystery, and the audience can easily connect to the film while also not knowing really who is going to die first, wanting them to keep watching and be more engaged. Another key convention that we challenged within our film was suspense. Unlike some horror films, we didn't have a slow opening, again, like Scream. they had a very slow opening with the phone call. Instead, we built suspense through rapid use of deaths and threat, showing the real time of danger. Lastly, one of the key conventions that was challenged was sound and music. Tense and high pitched music is common within horror movies, but not ours. We provided more classical music and created a diegetic sound to create realism and allow connection from the audience to the film. We also discussed social groups and issues within our film, which would include friendship groups, social inequality and discrimination, fear of the unknown, and gender and power. In this image right here, you can see gender and power from the film A Game to Die For, and inequality and discrimination from A Game to Die For as well. All right. Regarding friendship groups, our whole film was established off of a friend group, creating connection. With a tight knit of friends, the stakes begin to rise and the audience cares more. The audience and characters aren't witnessing the death of a stranger, but of a friend. As you can see here in the 2018 film Truth or Dare, they also provided a friendship group, a very tight knit group of friends that the audience can really connect to. The usage of social inequality and discrimination was expressed through the death of all the minorities being first. This really helped raise an awareness for the stereotypes of cultural assumptions and lack of representation. Another social group and issue that we discussed was fear of the unknown. Not knowing what is to come creates an enigma of trust and reality, and it really creates just connection from the audience to the film. Lastly, we addressed gender and power, which was both challenged and supported within our opening film. Although the female roles are being presented as strong leaders, a man is still presenting misogyny. This is shown through the male taking the lead during the film to protect the woman, but being the only one to survive. Although he is supporting these women and letting them take on that leadership role, he is still being in front of them within the film, being that protecting cause. That was really